Hey, it is Monday, February 6th, and I'm Maggie Gray. Welcome to SI Now at our brand new time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and along with the new time slot, we're trying something else new. I'm not alone anymore. Joining me today and tomorrow is former WWE superstar Matt Stryker is here.
Hello,
Matt, thanks for
how are
being
you?
with us.
You are not alone.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Those are the only words I know.
That is really great.
Thank you.
Is that R. Kelly?
It's Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, Michael Jackson. Oh, gosh, I'm off to such a bad start here.
Yeah.
I hope you'll stay. I hope you'll stay. We appreciate you being here, especially on a day when we have so much sports to talk about, namely the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. That is what we saw last night when the Patriots came back from 25 points down late in the third quarter and orchestrated a methodical and an improbable resurgence to force overtime and win a fifth ring for Brady and for Bill Belichick. So, Matt, let's start here. Was this a bigger comeback by the Patriots or a bigger collapse by the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, I guess it depends on which part of the country you're watching, but for me, it's going to be the comeback. This whole sports year has been about the comeback, whether it's the Cavs or the Cubs. But I think this is the one that people will point to when they try to illustrate to never give up. And there were two moments that really stuck out to me in the game that were the field began to tilt in favor of the Patriots.
Okay, what were those moments?
Well, the first one is the pro wrestler in me. Right around the end of the third quarter, Matt Ryan calls a timeout, and I thought it was a little curious. He goes to the sideline. He claims that his transmission in his helmet is off. He can't hear a thing. And I said to myself, Vince McMahon himself could not book this thing any better because here come the Patriots. If you don't subscribe to that, then obviously you go to Edelman's catch that now thrusts him with names like Franco Harris, Dwight Clark, David Tyree. Really the catch, and then the Falcons being knocked out of field goal range off the holding call. From there, you just knew. You just felt it. The Hollywood theatrics were coming, and thus the greatest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl.
You know, I saw this a little bit differently. I think this is a massive collapse by the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, this was the #1 offense all season long, and they were afraid to lose more than they wanted to win this game. And that was getting off to this really hot start and then letting it slip away. A couple points at where this game really turned on them. When it was 28-9, and they failed to get a first down after recovering the onside kick in the third quarter. That led to a Patriots field goal that made it 28-12. Then it was the Ryan sack fumble to a Mendelara touchdown that made it 28-20. And I think at that point we kind of knew what was in the cards and that this thing was going to be at least tied to go to overtime. And then you mentioned it before with Matt Ryan when he took the sack, which is #1 what a quarterback should not do, and then subsequently you get the hold call, they become out of field goal range, and that was just such a real rookie mistakes by someone who was the league's MVP, voted on and was announced just the night before.
And you mentioned rookies, and a lot of people talked about how the Atlanta secondary was littered with rookies, and I noticed Tom Brady kept putting his receiver in motion. When he did that, he forces the Falcons to go into man coverage, and that allows Tom Brady to do what Tom Brady does best, expose matchups. And I guess a innocent 2001 hit on Drew Bledsoe really sets the stage for you and I being here right now, because that's what started Tom Brady into perhaps the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, let's talk about where he goes from here. So we can now, I think, basically agree that he's the greatest football player of all time. You know, he has now the rings, 5 of them.
King Kong Bundy, 5.
The dominance is really unprecedented. When you look at the Mount Rushmore of sports figures now, does Tom Brady deserve a seat on that table? I mean, does he deserve a face in the wall?
Well, we have to first begin to say who's already on that Mount Rushmore. I mean, a lot of people immediately will say Michael Jordan,
of course,
Wayne Gretzky, of course, Babe Ruth. So now you put Tom Brady in there. But as a professional wrestler, where's the love for my sport? How about the great one, The Rock? Can't The Rock, do you smell? I can't do the eyebrow. I try, but I can't.
Wait, don't you have your whole other Mount Rushmore for you guys?
Yes, it's just me all the time, just the 4 of me.
Yes. You're a Mount Rushmore. I feel like the wrestlers, all right, get The Rock out of here. Listen, you guys get your own Mount Rushmore.
You said this.
Get your
He's
own
The Rock. It's made of rock. We have nothing?
No, you can have your Mount Rushmore with your wrestlers, but this one is sports only.
With your wrestlers.
Here's my issue with that Mount Rushmore is it's really still hard for me to put Tom Brady there with Michael Jordan. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, and this is maybe being a little bit nitpicky, but Jordan never lost a finals. And I know it does take a huge Herculean effort just to make it to the Super Bowl. So to go 5 for 7 is unbelievable, and it's something to be commended for sure. But Jordan never lost. He was 6-time finals MVP. Brady's got 4. You know, there are certain things about it that I feel like maybe put Jordan even a little bit above. You can see there. I mean, Wayne Gretzky, he won 4 cup titles, Stanley Cups. Was in the finals once, lost one of them when he was with the LA Kings. I don't know. Muhammad Ali, totally different in my opinion if you look at the GOATs here. What he did out of the ring and off the field, I feel like puts him in a whole other stratosphere.
But there's something to be said about the Jordans and the Gretzkys. They were ambassadors for their sport. Babe Ruth, I think time has forgotten what Babe Ruth did. He rescued baseball from the Black Sox scandal. He essentially distracted the country from the Great Depression. So there's a lot of names and arguments, and of course on social media and on Twitter, everyone will be hitting us up. You know, who do you think belongs on this Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, I'm going to say a big NO to Babe Ruth. If you played during a segregated era, I can't put you as one of the greatest of all time. And listen, thankfully you and I didn't live through the Great Depression. You think those people didn't know that there was a Great Depression
yes,
going
I'm sure
on?
They were fully aware.
No amount of Babe Ruth home runs, I think, was taking their mind off of that. But I don't know if I could put the Babe there. I mean, a one-time MVP, even back when I guess they were probably still figuring out what some of these postseason awards even were, some of these season awards were. I don't know if I can put the Babe there. I know
Is there a different football player that
might
would
go
put?
in? Well, here was always the argument for Joe Montana over Brady, which is the same one I made for Jordan, which was he never lost a Super Bowl. He's a perfect 4 for 4. I don't think there's anyone that is a Brady's peer at this point. Charles Haley has 5 rings also, but I mean, the quarterback position is just so much different than every other.
And here's something that struck me is that Joe Montana never turned the football over in a Super Bowl. I mean, let that statement sink in. That is huge, especially a game like last night where turnovers make the game. It literally made the game. So I think what Montana did there also deserves some recognition. Maybe we can carve a little chisel out for Joe on the side.
Now Joe gets the asterisk. I don't know. I still think that Brady blows him away. I really do. I mean, listen, there are other, Joe Montana, certain Super Bowls he was in blowouts. I mean, he also had the best receiver of all time in Jerry Rice. I mean, the year that Tom Brady had Randy Moss, they went to the Super Bowl and lost it. So that really is the only, I would say, unbelievable, otherworldly, Hall of Fame receiver that Tom Brady probably ever had. I don't think Edelman, I don't think Amendola, those guys aren't going to the Hall of Fame. I just don't see it.
Well, it remains to be debated.
Yeah, tell us what you think. Your Mount Rushmore of famous athletes and the best ever, not The Rock.
Oh, come on.
Tom Brady showed his dominance last night, but if you play in the AFC East, you're no stranger to the Patriots having this type of success all the time. Last week, I caught up with Matt Forte of the New York Jets, who described what it's like facing that New England juggernaut twice a year. You got to the AFC East. So now you kind of know a little what this whole Tom Brady hype is about. Not that you didn't before, but just how long of a shadow do Brady and Belichick cast really over the entire division? I mean, they've won 14 of the last 16 titles. Now you've gotten a taste of it for the first year. What is it like? Can you not wait for him to retire already?
No, I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive to see that. And it just shows you that they know exactly what they are doing. They know what they want to do. And they go out there and they put in place the correct parts to do that. I mean, that's a long legacy of a lot of winning. I mean, if you look at Belichick's first press conference when he first came into the league, he said, "I'm here to win, and that's my main goal is to win." And he was like, "I know it's NFL, you're not going to win every game, but when he goes out on the field, he said he expects to win. If you implement a certain, culture in a team and somebody's not buying into it, those guys, they say either get with it or get lost." And so they do that on their team, and guys know that already going into it. And so, that's why they're successful, because everybody's on the same page and they're disciplined and they kind of wait for you to make a mistake.
Matt Forte, great to talk with you and get your perspective on things. Wishing you the best of luck next year.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I I would say the Patriots were all on the same page last night, coming from behind to win the Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about the future of the Pats coming up. But as for the commercials last night, well, companies shelled out over $5 million for just 30 seconds of airtime. And political themes were front and center, particularly immigration, with Anheuser-Busch, 84 Lumber, and even Airbnb deciding to create commercials with a message. Here's a look.
America, we're in for at least 4 years of awful hair. So it's up to you to do your part by making up for it with great hair. And we mean all hair.
Yes, welcome to America. You don't want it here. Go back home.
Do I tell her that despite her education, her drive, her skills, her intelligence, she will automatically be valued as less than every man she ever meets?
Jones from Ad Meter. Thank you for being here. A lot of very powerful images there. How big of a gamble is it to make a political statement?
You know, it's always a risk because you might alienate some of your viewers when you take a political stance. But I think that given what's happening in the country, advertisers had to kind of weigh in. And I feel that a lot of the commercials that did have a message really resonated and had a big impact. They trended well in our ad meter, they trended well online, and got a lot of buzz and conversation going.
Well, that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. That's the reason you pay $5 million for 30 seconds of airtime.
To make an impact. So as for who won the night, Ad Meter rated this Kia commercial the highest. Watch.
Hey, Melissa, the whales need your help.
I love whales!
Go, Melissa!
Let's protect those whales!
Well, Melissa McCarthy coming off of her Saturday Night Live performance.
Yeah.
Why, in your mind, did that commercial generate so much online activity?
You know, Melissa McCarthy could read the phone book and I think make people laugh. She is just hilarious, and it was this kind of slapstick humor that everybody could enjoy. And what was really interesting is that it really was an environmental message, right? It's about saving the trees and the whales and the ice caps. But when you give that kind of a message with humor, it makes it go down easier, and it makes it a little bit less polarizing. So everyone loved it. Women, men, all generations, all ages. It was just successful all the way around.
Yeah, and those ice caps were treacherous, as you can see.
She got in a lot of trouble. She was very accident prone, but it was very, very funny.
I absolutely love the physical comedy coming from Melissa McCarthy. She's just fantastic at it, and I thought it created some levity actually at a time in the game that was incredibly tense, because that one happened later on in the comeback by the Patriots. Now, my personal favorite came very early in the night. This was the only time that I literally laughed out loud.
What they do know is that avocados from Mexico have good fat, which means that someone in here, Kyle, are you streaming this?
Is that not cool?
No, it's not cool. That's what secret means. It's a secret society.
Oh, wow, secret, yep.
At least they don't know about subliminal advertising.
Eat them!
Well, my favorite was the Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart commercial for reasons I cannot get into because my mom is watching. Hi, Mom.
Might even say it's all that in a bagger.
Purple cushy throw pillows?
No, I was thinking.
Herb roasted lamb chops?
Nah, bagger.
Greenery. For your topiary garden?
Nah.
Pot? Cannabis?
Maybe.
Pot, cannabis, subtle messages there from Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. Matt, I knew what you were thinking.
Well, you've heard our favorites. What was your personal favorite as you were sitting at home last night?
You know, I'm going to go in a more serious direction. I thought that the Audi commercial was really powerful. It did really well with women. I mean, men were not far behind, but women really loved it. And I just thought that it had this incredible musical score. I felt the narration by the father talking about his daughter was very poignant. And then at the end, there's this victory when she wins the race, and he feels really positive about her future. I just thought that it was kind of unapologetically making a statement, and it was really powerful. I really loved that ad.
You know, Charisse, what I really loved about that was not only did it make a statement, but then Audi says at the end, we actually pay our employees equal, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. So it wasn't just the statement, but they were also showing that they put their money where their mouth is. They're being true to this ethos.
Yeah, it really says a lot just about the awareness of sports fans in general. We really are advancing, and I think the game shows it as well as do the ads.
Exactly, I think so. And I think it needs to, because it's such a reflection of society. I mean, it's something that's kind of a national pastime. Everybody gets together still to watch the Super Bowl, and so having those kinds of conversations makes a lot of sense. It's not just about fun, it's about also deciding, you know, what kind of society you want to be.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I mean, we've seen political statements in football games for years and years, so we probably shouldn't be that shocked that it's made its way over to the commercials as well. Now, Charisse, I'll ask you, we know our best and our favorites and the ones that did really well on Ad Meter. What about the worst? Is there someone who took home that dubious distinction?
Unfortunately, yes. There's always got to be somebody that's in the bottom, and that was KFC. Among the traditional ads, and it just did not go over well. They had the Colonel that was covered in gold, and he was making kind of naughty humor about gold over certain parts. And, you know, sometimes quirky humor can work, like TurboTax and Humpty Dumpty. That was very popular. That was in the top 20.
And they gave him an English accent, which I thought was perfect.
Was very
yes,
classy.
Right on
that
point.
was perfect. But, you know, with KFC, it just didn't quite work, so they wound up in the bottom.
Well, I have to be honest, I'm embarrassed at how much I enjoyed the Justin Bieber ad. I don't want to admit to it, but...
Are you a believer?
Maggie?
No, Matt, back to you. I want to hear this answer. I think we all know. I think it's positive. Also, the KFC ad, this is what I kept thinking. They completely ripped off an episode of Atlanta. The episode where Paperboy, when he gets out of jail and he gets to go get the chicken with the gold sauce, they completely ripped him off. I mean, Charisse, we're probably used to seeing some creative
you're right.
sharing, but that one seemed like it was too close to home.
For people that watch Atlanta, and that's a very popular show, so you're right. That might have been another reason it didn't do as well. People were like, get original. You know, you're paying this money, get creative, come up with your own idea.
Well, Christopher Walken ripped off Justin Timberlake. I mean, hello. It's
little
crazy.
bye, bye, bye. Little bye, bye, bye. All right, Ted, you haven't answered the question, though. Matt, you are a believer? Let's just end this once and for all.
Fine. Yes, I am. And if you ask me to dance, I'm leaving.
That's coming up in our next segment.
All right. Well, we'll stay right there. And thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
As for the best local commercial, well, that goes to Shields MRI of New England. They got Tom Brady to throw shade. Watch this.
Tom?
Hi.
Welcome to Shields MRI. Would you please remove all jewelry and place it in the locker?
Oh, yeah. Sure, no problem.
Tom Brady trusts Shields MRI. You can too.
Is that all?
Actually, no. I forgot this one. It's kind of new.
We're gonna need to get you a bigger locker.
Roger that.
Shields Healthcare. Go where the pros go.
Okay, so those commercials were fun to talk about, but if Tom Brady is going to do another Shields MRI commercial next year, do you think that six rings, Matt, is a possibility? I mean, do you think that Brady and Belichick are just going to continue to win more and more?
Well, the NFL isn't built for consistency. And while you have a great quarterback, you need a great coach. And I'm reminded that Vince Lombardi had 11 Hall of Famers during his tenure. And Belichick continually has to create stars. So I think teams like Dallas, maybe teams like Denver with that defense, might have something to say about Brady and Belichick going for 6 when 5 isn't even cold yet.
You know, I don't know. You got Brady signed through the year 2020. And I feel like Brady's going to be one of those guys where he's not riding off into the sunset. You're going to have to rip the jersey off of his back. He's not going to just be retiring because of some kind of narrative that, you know, wraps up in this nice bow that the fans and the media loves. There are some other big decisions that the Patriots are going to have to make. Dante Hightower is going to be a free agent this year. Now, they got rid of Jamie Collins and traded him midseason, probably because they knew they couldn't pay Collins and also Hightower. He came up huge in this Super Bowl, going from linebacker to defensive end to have a crucial sack, and Matt Ryan. I mean, that all points to pay the man. You also have Martellus Bennett. He's a free agent right now. Alan Branch, the defensive tackle, Sebastian Vollmer, the right tackle, and even LeGarrette Blount, who was not as effective in the Super Bowl, but has put together these phenomenal games for the Patriots.
Well, let's not forget, one of Bill Belichick's strengths is drafting. So all these names that you're running off, we can throw those cards away because next season and the season after, we'll be talking about all brand new names, but it all goes back to the draft. So once again, these points can be debated.
And also the rumor that Jimmy Garoppolo may be the apple of the Chicago Bears' eye with that third pick. I think that's a little high for Jimmy Garoppolo.
What do you give up for him? Come on, you're
I don't know about
Belichick
a
with the
first.
sweatshirt. You're sitting there. Give me the scowl.
You're doing it better than I can. I don't know if my face makes those kind of moves. It's like you're sucking on a lemon. I don't think that Garoppolo is worth a number 3 overall pick. I don't know if I see that. We just don't have enough tape on him. We don't know what he's like. But if you're the Bears and you are completely desperate for a quarterback in a division that's only getting better, then yeah, maybe you're going to take a shot. Okay, the Atlanta Falcons. We talked a little before about the inexperience in their secondary, but what does the future hold for this team, Matt? Do you see them getting back to another Super Bowl?
On paper, contractually, everyone is locked in, and it seems like yes, but it's back to my original statement about this league not being built for consistency. There are teams that can come from out of nowhere, and the Falcons are going to need to be almost perfect again, because remember, Sunday morning, everyone thought, or a lot of people thought, that this team was going to be what we were talking about today.
Yeah.
So it remains to be seen. What about you?
I'm curious because Kyle Shanahan is leaving to go to the San Francisco 49ers, and he got so much praise as the offensive coordinator of the Falcons for getting Matt Ryan to this MVP season, unlocking what we may believe is the true Matt Ryan. If this is really him, this is his elite status as an MVP. I think we're going to see whether or not that's true next year. Can he have that same magic with Kyle Shanahan gone to a completely other coast?
We're talking about all these quarterbacks and coaches and coordinators. Back to Garoppolo. Do you think that the opportunity is something that he would be able to rise to? A lot of times, greatness is thrust upon people. I go back to that Mo Lewis hit on Drew Bledsoe. We had no idea what that kid coming in that was going to replace Drew was going to do. What do you think?
Well, I think they just don't have a lot of options right now, so I think they take anyone. But whether you have this quarterback class coming out of college is not really making a lot of people very excited. I mean, Deshaun Watson, who I got a chance to talk to at the Super Bowl, impressive guy, comes through in clutch moments, but you look at some of the mechanics, and people think that maybe he doesn't have the stuff to make it to the next level. Deshaun Kaiser's another one, Mitch Trubisky, and then let's put Brad Kaya from Miami also in that class of quarterbacks. I think people are, teams may be willing to sit tight on a quarterback this year, in which case I think Garoppolo's status raises and he might be the real prize of the offseason, because I think in terms of drafting a quarterback, you just don't want to be wrong on that one. I mean, even with a rookie salary cap, it's still a very difficult mistake. Just ask the Bills with Tyrod Taylor, the Jets
just list all the names.
The Bills
on that
I met
team.
with E.J. Manuel,
Yes.
and of course the Mets with Geno Smith. It's really hard once you miss on a quarterback.
Well, I'll do my best not to call him Garoppolo, but I guess just like anything else, it remains to be seen what will happen next season.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Falcons. I am. I think Dwight Freeney may retire. I think we might see that happen. You have Courtney Upshaw in a contract year, Taylor Gabriel in a contract year, Freeman's in the final year of his deal. They still have the nucleus, though. They have Ryan, they have Julio Jones, they have Alex Mack. They have enough for the offense. We have to see if the defense comes
But will they have the Patriots across the line from them again next season? That also matters, too. Who you're up against really matters as well.
I know. If we're talking about off seasons, I feel like the Oakland Raiders could be poised for a big off season. Matt Stryker, this has been a lot of fun. Will you come back tomorrow?
I shall be here tomorrow with another song.
Okay. And not just because you're contractually obligated,
There you
right?
go.
You really want to
Yes.
be here.
Yes, of course.
It's been a fun one. Thanks so much. That's going to do it for this Monday edition of SI Now. Matt and I will be back tomorrow. Remember our new time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Eat your breakfast with us. Have your coffee with us. We'll take a look at how the NFL may self-destruct. We have reasons why. We'll tell you tomorrow. Until then, stick with SI.com for all the latest news. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. Enjoy your Monday and all the Super Bowl hype. See you tomorrow.